Hello, sixth grade. Today we're doing summary notes for investigation 2.1, variables and patterns. We focused today on independent and dependent variables, and once again, tables and graphs. So to review, an independent variable is one of the two variables in a relationship. The value determines the value of the other one, and it goes on the x-axis. Our dependent variable is one of the two variables in a relationship. The value is determined by the other variable, and it goes on the y-axis. So if you want to think of dependent and independent variables, your independent variable could be the time that you spend studying, and your dependent variable could be the grade that you get on an assessment. Okay, so your grade depends on the time that you spent studying. So in our investigation today, we were looking at the two different bike shops. Here we had the Rocky's bike rental, and it was put in a table format, and we had Adrian's bike rental shop, and it was put in a graph, and we were investigating both and comparing both. So in the case above, the number of bikes is the independent variable. Independent variable, and the rental fee is the dependent variable. Rental fee meaning the cost, okay? Because the cost depends on the number of bikes. If I call a shop and say, how much is it for bike rentals? They might say it depends. It depends on what, you ask? Well, it depends on the number of bikes that you rent. So my cost depends on the number of bikes I rent. Okay. How can you predict the rental costs for the number of bikes that are not shown by the entries in the table or the graph? So in other words, if we look here, maybe we want 12 bicycles. Well, how could we take a look and understand what 12 bicycles would be? Or what if we wanted 60 bicycles? Same thing here. What if I didn't want 10, 20, 30, 40, or 50? What if I wanted, again, 15, which is in between, or I wanted 60? So on a graph, or even for both of them, if it's between two, so if it's between 10 and 15, I'm just going to want to estimate between 535 and 655. Okay, on my graph, if it's between, again, 10 and 20, well, here's 10 is about 350, and 20 is a little bit more. 20 is up here at about 600. So you're going to estimate in between. So if you're looking for, if it is in between, and remember, you can always stop and pause the video. If it's in between values, estimate between numbers. Okay, makes sense. Okay, and if it's above the highest value, obviously you're going to estimate higher. So if it is above the highest value, estimate higher. And again, if you need to pause the video here just to write those down, go right ahead and pause it down. So in this case, would it make sense to connect the points on this graph? And the answer to this is no, because you can't represent half a bicycle. So again, in between here, it might be like here's 10, and maybe right here, that little point, if I had it as a line, would be 10 and a half. So you're not going to connect this because it doesn't make any sense to have, you can't have halves of bicycles. So would it make sense to connect the points on the graph? No. You can't have half a bicycle. So now what are the benefits of using a table and what are the benefits of using a graph? Okay, each one has its strengths and its weaknesses. So the benefit of using a table is that you get the exact amounts. I'm not going, well, is it in between? Is it not? Nope, I know 5 is 400, 10 is 535, and if I needed to find in between, I have exact amounts. The benefit of using a line plot is I can easily see a trend quickly. Sure, I don't know what this exact amount for 10 is, but I could see as the number of bikes increase, my price increases at a steady rate. Here, I'm not sure unless I take out to see if this is a steady rate. I believe from our investigation that it's not. Okay, so the benefit of a line plot is that you could see a trend or pattern.